Hi, I'm Sergio with Arvig. Thanks for watching Tech Talk. Today we're going to be talking about wireless differences, specifically the kind of wireless that you use for internet or cell phones, all these devices here that we take advantage of every single day now. I don't know if I could live without some of these devices, but you hear these words and you're probably thinking, well, what's the difference? What does it mean? Does my cell phone have Wi-Fi? Does my computer have 4G? Well, let's talk about what that really means and what they mean, what they can do for you. The first one we're going to talk about is Wi-Fi. And Wi-Fi is something that almost any internet-enabled device has these days. It started out with something only laptops really had, but now a lot of desktop computers have Wi-Fi, cell phones have Wi-Fi. This is a router which sends Wi-Fi out. Wi-Fi is a basic wireless technology that's very similar to cordless phones. You have a cordless phone in your house that might say something like 900 megahertz or 2.4 gigahertz. Wi-Fi actually uses the same type of frequencies as cordless phones. Now, there's some benefits and some downsides to that as well. Great thing about it is it can handle very fast speeds. The newest Wi-Fi standards can easily handle 100 megabits per second, which is much faster than most internet connections out there. So that's great. The downside is they tend to have very short ranges. And the reason for that is because it's a public spectrum. It's something that everyone can use. So if you have a router in your house, you don't want it going 20 or 30 miles because it's going to interfere with everyone else's connection. Instead, it's like a corded phone that usually covers maybe 300 feet maximum, and if it goes through a wall, it loses a lot of that range. Perfect for a household, just like a cordless phone. Next, we're going to be talking mostly about cellular wireless technologies. Now, today, the buzzword and everyone knows about is 4G. But the meager beginnings of cell phones were with what's called 2G. In fact, the first iPhone only used 2G wireless. Now, like all cell phone technologies, it had a very long range, but 2G had very, very slow speeds. If you know anything about internet connections, we're talking less than 1 megabit per second, kind of like dial-up, or a very, very slow, high-speed connection, broadband connection. They moved on to 3G maybe 6 or 7 years ago, and almost the entire United States is covered in 3G now, which, depending on your provider, can provide somewhere between 2 and 20 megabits per second. That's great, and it's perfect for smartphones on the go, but the new hot thing is what's called LTE, or 4G wireless connections. That's actually very similar to Wi-Fi in how fast it is, but because it's using cellular technologies and they are on private spectrum, they can pump it out over miles and miles and miles. Now, we don't have it all over the country yet. Certain bigger cities like New York and Chicago and the Twin Cities here in Minnesota can get access to 4G, but it is being expanded quite a bit. The difficulty is not all cell phones are built with 4G necessarily, and sometimes they're tied to specific carriers. So when you're shopping for your new smartphone, make sure it's someone that you want to be with for a while, hopefully. And if you're thinking that you need really fast speeds, consider whether you're going to get that 4G in your area. So let's say you're going to be shopping with Sprint. Well, Sprint doesn't have a very big 4G network yet. And especially here in Minnesota, I don't know if they have any at all. Verizon, on the other hand, is expanding quite a bit of their 4G connection into Minnesota, and they have the LTE, that 4G connection, in St. Cloud, even further north, and they're really pumping it out fast. So it's something to look for, what you want, what you need. If speed is, you need the speed, then 4G is what you're going to want to get. Well, thanks for watching Tech Talk. I hope you learned a little bit about wireless technologies. There's a lot of other ones out there too, like Bluetooth and MiFi, and they're all a little bit different, but we covered some of the basics. If you have more questions though, why don't you give us a call at 888-99-ARVIG, or visit one of our web pages like arvig.com or facebook.com/arvighq, or visit us at any of our Arvig locations.